Here the sound is low. Is it good now? Okay. यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवाम्बोधे स्थितिर्षावता वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय जय राम ॐ 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 जय राम ॐ जय राम ॐ। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। We were seeing a recap of Bharatji's Charitra in AyodhyaKandh. In Ramacharitmanas, you will find description of several devotees, but they will be in probably one or two dohas, few chaupais. You will find description of Shabariji, description of Sutikshnaji, Jatayuji, all great devotees of the Lord. Bharatji is the only devotee for whom Goswamiji has spent more than 200 dohas. That is his greatness. Different facets of his personality bring out what an ideal, a true devotee of Bhagwan should be. Somebody whose mind is totally turned away from this world, somebody whose mind doesn't get colored by this world, that is our Bharatji. Same bhavana we find in so many compositions. For Surdasji, there is a composition which says, Jagase darshana जगसे नयनन बंद किए तब सूरदास ने दरस लिए. Means Surdashi closed his eyes from this world. Closing his eyes opened his eyes for darshan of the Lord. That is the same emotion we see here even for Bharatji. Bharadwaji Rishi brings entire Swarga down. But his mind is constantly on Bhagwan Rama. So we had left off at the portion where Bharatji has come and he has met Bhagwan, met Sitaji, met Lakshmanji. Now there are conversations which happen, and first is Bhagwan tells them, now it's time to go back. Vasishtha Maharshi says, please allow us to stay few more days, and all the tribal people, they show their hospitality. They show their atithya towards Ayodhyavasis. Now finally, they say we have to discuss the topic for which we have come with Bhagwan Rama. So they call for sabha. Sabha means gathering. There are several sabhas which happen. This is the first sit-down meeting. Vasishtha ji is the one who is presiding over it. And he says, what is the nature of Bhagwan Rama? Now this sabha is without Bhagwan. They are discussing amongst themselves, how should we approach this topic? Niti preeti paramartha swaratu kona ramasana jana jatharatu. What is dharma? What is love? What is supreme, paramartha? And what is good for us? Nobody knows it better than Bhagwan Rama. This is one philosophy we should keep in mind even in prayer. Sometimes we want something and we pray for that, which is good. But after we pray whatever we have to pray, we should add this: Bhagwan, whatever you think is right, may that happen. Because what is good for us, Jiva's limited mind cannot fathom it. So Vasishtha Maharshi says that is nature of Bhagwan Rama. So we should do that what Bhagwan would want. So think about it and you tell me. Now he is talking to Bharatji. He says, you tell me what we should be doing. You think. Bharatji says, it is my misfortune that you are asking me for a solution. Our whole family is supported with your grace. We rely upon you. And O Vasishtha Maharshi, today you are asking me what we should be doing. Then finally Vasishtha Maharshi says, my solution is Bharatji, Shatrugnaji should go to the forest. Bhagwan Rama, Sitaji and Lakshmanji, they should come back. Bharatji jumps at this idea and he says, I am happy to live my whole life in the forest. Let's implement this right away. Vasishtha Maharshi's mind is so drowned in Bharatji's love. He says, for simple power and position, somebody might break all rules and things of the family. And here is Bharatji, who is ready to leave everything for Bhagavan. This is where that example comes. After they all go and meet Bhagwan Rama, now from their own sabha, they have gone to meet Bhagwan Rama. Vasishtha Maharshi says, Bharatji's glory is like an ocean. His devotion to God is like an ocean. And my little mind is like a boat on the shore without any oars. It doesn't know how to fathom, how to go forward in this. Then Vasishtha Maharshi tells Bhagwan Rama, please tell us what is the best thing we should do. Bhagwan says, why don't you tell? This goes on, huh? You tell, I tell, you tell, I tell. Vasishtha Maharshi says, my mind is in Bharatji's control right now. Whatever Bharatji wants, that is what I will say as the final thing. So let us ask him only. So looking at this love between Vasishtha Maharshi and Bharatji, Bhagwan feels very happy. For such a great Rishi like Vasishtha Maharshi, to get his love, that itself is a great accomplishment for a student. So Bhagwan says, this nature of Bharatji is something very praiseworthy. Then Vasishtha Maharshi speaks to Bharatji and he says, speak your heart out. This is the time we have already discussed. Now tell with your own words, in your own words, what is it that all of us should be doing. Now they had prepped everything, decided on the solution also, but suddenly Bharatji's mind goes towards all the erroneous things which have happened in Ayodhya. He says, my mother Kaikeyi was responsible for all the chaos that came. Bhagwan's sorrow is because of me. And he goes on lamenting about how he is not fit to speak in this sabha. Amidst all the great people who are there, if somebody is guilty of something, he will not feel very confident to speak. Bharatji says, this is how I am feeling right now. I am responsible for Bhagwan's sorrow and you are asking me, I should decide what Bhagwan should do. Then Bhagwan Rama directly gives assurance to Bharatji. He says, always remember, Jiva is under control of Ishvara. Isa adhina Jiva gati jani. This is not for Bharatji, this is for all sadhakas. sometimes that jiva might feel, why did I do this? Why did I do that? As long as he has acknowledged it and is willing to come out of it, Bhagwan says, have solace in this thought. Certain things, if they were meant to happen, they will happen no matter what. Isa adhina jiva gati jani. It is true that we have free will. But when we look at our past, it might be the pressure of the situation, spur of the moment. Some things jiva might have done. He says, it doesn't matter what you did, as long as your heart is pure. Even if it was a mistake, and you're willing to come out of it, he says, don't keep it in your heart for too long. Mita hi papa prapancha sava akhila amangala bhara. You are such a pure-hearted person. Those who remember you, their papa karmas will get purified. They will get more and more punya. And he says, Loku sujasu paraloka sukha sumirata nama tumhara. If somebody falsely accuses you or they think ill about you, then their punya karmas will go away. And those who remember you, they will get more and more punya karma. Then he is telling, leave this guilt. How long will you hold on to this? Manu prasanna kari sakuchataji. Sakucha means guilt. Be cheerful now. Manu prasanna kari sakuchataji. Kahu karau soi aju. Whatever you say, that I am going to do today. Satya sandha raghubara vachana. Suni bhasuki samaju. Bhagwan Rama's words, once he gives it, doesn't go back on it. Listening to this, everybody becomes happy. Except Devatas. Because they say Bhagwan has given such a promise, we don't know what Bharatji is going to say. Now Indra remembers his teaching that Brahaspatiji had given. He says, no point in doing anything different now. Let us just surrender to Bharatji. So in this particular situation, Devatas do japa. Devatas do dhyanam of Bharatji. He says, may you be taking care of our well-being. Then Bharatji, he tells Bhagwan, Bhagwan, your teaching has opened my eyes. This world by itself is not a problem. The color that we put on this world through our mind, that becomes a source for bondage. Jagat by itself is called Ishvara Srishti, and what we project on the world is Jiva Srishti. This topic is elaborated in Panchadashi. One person is there, same person is looked upon by 5 people in 5 different ways. Let us say one man is there. Son looks upon him as father. Wife looks upon him as husband. Father looks upon him, his father looks upon him as son. And based on how they are looking upon that person, they have different expectations. So Panchadashikara says, Jiva Srishti is one, he is Pancha Mahabhuta only. On top of that, different people superimposing their own perspectives makes them see a different world altogether. So Bharatji says that is what was happening. I was seeing the world in one way. I was seeing all these things in a particular perspective. Now that guilt has gone. Now please let us do that by which we don't put you in difficulty. So this is the first time when Bharatji is speaking about the options. Until now they were just pointing out who should do, who should speak. Bharatji says option 1 is, I have brought everything for coronation. You might do whatever you think is good with that material. That is his way of saying. He doesn't say you should sit on the throne, you should become the king. He says, I have brought the Rajyabhisheka material. Army is also there. Abhishekam Kalash is also there. You do whatever you deem is fit. Second option, he says, myself and Shatrugna ji, we will go to the forest. All 3 of you, please come back. That is the second option. Third option, send Lakshmanji back. I will come with you. Lakshmanji stared at him. Third option is giving. Actually, Kausalya ji preferred this third option. Later part, she is going to talk to Sunaina ji. The option that she presented was also this. Send Bharat ji to the forest. His love for God is extraordinary. If he stays at home, it is not good for him. Send Lakshmanji back. He can manage. Option 4 is you both go back. Bhagwan Rama and Sita ji go back to Ayodhya. We three brothers will continue. Myself, Shatrugna ji and Lakshman ji, we will complete father's words. It is said in a play, theatre, when you introduce characters, they have to be introduced at the right time. Not too late, when all the suspense is gone, then the main character comes. Not too late, nor too early, so that all suspense is gone. And this I had heard from one literary person who was into literature. He said, if you read Ramacharitmanas, how to introduce characters, at what point, in what way, one of the exemplary demonstration you will find in Ramacharitmanas. Now look at this portion. Everybody is seated. Sabha is going on. Bhagwan removed Bharatji's guilt. Bharatji finally spoke these 4 options. Now how it should have culminated? Bhagwan Rama would have picked one. Right at this moment, Janak Maharaj's messengers come. They say, Janak Maharaj has come, Janak Maharaj has come. So Bhagwan did not respond. Suddenly the focus shifted to messengers of Janak Maharaj. Bharatji's 4 options remained there. Now the messengers of Janak Maharaj, they said, our Maharaj has started from Mithila. He was very concerned when he heard the news of Dashrath Maharaj's demise. He even sent some spies just to make sure what is Bharatji's intention. All of that he did. But once he came to know about Bharatji's love for Bhagavan, he said we should start immediately. So they have reached Prayagraj right now. Tomorrow they are going to arrive here. We are just messengers giving you this news. So everybody comes. Bhagwan Rama himself goes to welcome Janak Maharaj. And Vasishtha Maharshi, in the midst of all those things, he sends gifts for each and every person in their camp, because they are the guests right now. All of that is done. Then Janak Maharaj's wife, Sita ji's mother, her name was Sunaina ji. She goes and meets Kausalya ji. After they have spoken, Kausalya ji says, when you go back to your camp, they didn't have palaces there, right? Their own hut and camps. When you talk to Janak Maharaj, please put a word from my side. In this particular group of people, he is one person whose words have a lot of power. Bhagwan Rama will do whatever he says. So please propose to him to tell Bhagwan Rama that Lakshmanji should go, Lakshmanji should come back, and Bharatji should go in place of Lakshmanji. Sunaina ji comes back and she tells the whole story to our Janak Maharaj. Then Janak Maharaj is listening to the glories of Bharatji. His mind goes in samadhi. And he tells what is the greatness of listening to Bharatji's charitra. What is the Phalashruti? Janak Maharaj tells. Very interesting. Katha Sunaina ji told. Phalashruti Janak Maharaj is telling. And whole night goes by thinking about the glory of Bhagwan Rama and Bharatji. Now Bhagwan is getting worried here. He says, all of them are going through a lot of inconvenience. Janak Maharaj has also come. So he calls for another sabha. Everybody is seated. Bhagwan Rama tells Vasishtha Maharshi, now you have to take a decision. It's been quite some time and everybody is going through a lot of hardships. Vasishtha Maharshi says, your love for people is like that. Your heart is something which always thinks about others. That is Bhagwan's heart. And he says, the person whom we should ask now is Janak Maharaj. Let us ask him what is the right thing to do. Janak Maharaj's response is very interesting. He says, I think we did not do the right thing by coming here. Sometimes when there is a situation, and if that person ends up going there, increases the doubt even more. Already they were in doubt. He says, such a situation, it was better that we would not have come. Because in his heart he knows he cannot tell Bhagwan to come back. Even though if he would come, that is breaking his own vow. Breaking the lineage of Raghukula. On the other hand, he cannot even say, you go into the forest. So Janak Maharaj says, what have we achieved by coming here? Option 1 doesn't seem right. Option 2, if we say, what will we tell people when we come back? We sent Bhagwan from one forest to another forest. These were his words. In those chaupais he said, if at all we go back without Bhagwan, what is it that we will tell other people? We sent Bhagwan from one vana to another vana. Now he says, Bhagwan, give us some time. Let us all go to Bharatji again. They go to Bharatji, and Bharatji, in that sabha, third sabha now with Bharatji, he starts elaborating the role of a sevaka. He says, in my eyes, I am always a sevaka of Bhagwan. And he says, the dharma of a sevaka is very difficult. Agama nigama prasiddha purana seva dharma kathina jagujana. In all Agama Nigama, all Vedas and Puranas, it is very well established that being a sevaka is the most difficult role. And we had seen why is it difficult. One, it is difficult because sevaka has to be available. If he has too much of personal agenda, availability is not there. So if Bhagwan Rama calls, he says, Lakshmanji is ever ready. He doesn't say he was out on something or gone for some other task. That is the first dharma of a sevaka, being available for Sevya. Sevya means whom he is serving. And second is no personal agenda. The moment personal agenda is there, he cannot do seva. It will always conflict in some way. It will have some kind of resistance. And third one was, Abhimana has to be given up. After doing everything, having this Abhimana that I was the instrument, not the doer. Selfless service, these are the things which make it great also. At the same time, these things make it challenging and difficult also. And he says, I am Sevaka of the Lord. Now you keep in mind this particular thought and tell me what we have to do. So finally again they go to Bhagwan Rama. Bhagwan sees Bharatji with a very loving glance. And he calls him near, makes him sit with him, holds his hand. And Bharatji does a beautiful stuti of Bhagwan, which was the basis of Vinaya Patrika. How he elaborates Bhagwan's nature. He says Bhagwan's nature is such, no matter who that person is, whenever that person surrenders, he accepts. He doesn't have any reservations while doing this Sharanagati, while accepting Sharanagati. And he says, once a person surrenders, Bhagwan does everything for that person, but never makes him feel obliged. That is his way of working. He will do everything, but that sadhaka or a bhakta, he will not make him feel Bhagwan has done everything for him. He will feel it has come because of his efforts only. But bhakta is very alert. He is aware that whatever has come through God's grace. Now he says, there is no greater seva than following master's command. Agya sama na susahiva seva, so prasadu jana pavai deva. Bhagwan, please give me your command, what I should be doing. This is where we had left when we stopped for summer. Okay, now we will continue. Until now, another thing has also happened. All the devatas, starting with Indra Bhagwan, they played some trick. And they could not touch Bharatji, they could not touch Vasishtha Maharshi, Janak Maharaj, all the great devotees who were there. But other Ayodhya Vasis, whose bhakti was not fully ripened, their minds they could affect. So suddenly they create some agitation in everybody's mind. One part of their mind says, oh, this forest is so nice, let us stay here. Another part of their mind says, I think it's time, let's go back home. This Uchchatana keeps happening in the mind. Goswamiji is very angry at Indra now. When I went to Trinidad, Swami Prakashananji was doing Ramakatha. I remember one sentence he said, in 20 years of studying Ramacharitmanas, one thing I have decided for sure, one thing I have understood for sure, Goswamiji doesn't like Indra. Because in so many places, he will write very harsh words. Mainly because if somebody asks something for themselves, he says that is not the exalted form of devotion. Always thinking about oneself. That is not Bhakta lakshana. That could be a reason why Goswamiji is very harsh at all these devatas. After 301. Rama namami 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 कपट कुचाली सेव सुर राजो पर काज प्रिय आपन काजो काक समान पाकरि पुरीति छली मलिन कतहु न प्रतीति प्रथम कुमत करि कपटु सकेला सो उचाटु सबके सिर मेला सुरमाया सब लोग विमोहे राम प्रेम अतिशयन बिछोहे भय उचाट बस मन थिर नाही छन बन रुचि छन सदन सुहाही दुबिध मनोगति प्रजा दुखारी सरित सिंधु संगम जनुवारी दुचित कतहु परितोषु न लहि एक एक सन मरमुन कहि लखिहि हसि कह कृपा निधानु सरिस स्वान मघवान जुबानु भरतु जनक मुनि जन सचिव साधु सचेत बिहाई लागी देव माया सबहि जथा जोग जन पाए कृपा सिंधु लखि लोग दुखारे निज स्नेह सुरपति छल भारे सभाराउ गुर महि सुर मंत्री, भरत भगति सबके मति जंत्री। राम ही चितवत चित्र लिखे से, सकुचत बोलत बचन सिखे से। भरत प्रीति नति विनय बड़ाई, सुनत सुखद बरनत कठिनाई। जासु बिलो की भगति लवलेसु, प्रेम मगन मुनि गण मिथिलेसु। महिमा तासु कहे कि तुलसी, भगति सुभाय सुमति हुलसी। आपु छोटी महिमा बड़ी जानी, कवि कुल कानि मानि सकुचानी। कही न सकति गुण रुचि अधिकाई, मति गति बाल बचन की नाई। भरत विमल जसु विमल विधो, सुमति चकोर कुमारी। उदित विमल जन हृदय नभ, एकटक रही निहार। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। When we chant our Shanti mantra, Bhadram Karne Vishnunyama Devaha, last line is Swastina Indro Vruddha Shravaha. May Indra Bhagwan, may his grace be upon us, may he nourish us. When you read this prasanga, it seems as though to have a peaceful mind, calm mind, Bhagwan's grace, Devata's blessings are also very important. Once we read this set of chaupais, we'll come back. Kapata Kuchali Siva Sura Raju. This Indra Bhagwan who is always deceitful. Kapata, Kuchali, plotting something ill. Para Akaja Priya Apana Kaju. He likes others' loss and self-gain. Means he'll self-gain, even if there is some other person's loss, he doesn't mind. Kaka Samana Paka Ripuriti. His ways are like a crow. Chali malina katahuna pratiti. Crow doesn't hesitate to eat anything. And it is said, it always doubts. The moment you raise your hand, it will fly off. So he gives that example. He says, self-centered thinking is like that. Here don't take it directly to Indra Bhagwan. What we should pay attention to is, if somebody is always thinking about one's own good and doesn't care about others' loss, that thought is criticized. Prathama kumata kari kupatak sankela. Right from the beginning, he plotted things, and even now he is plotting something ill. Not only that, he has made a net out of his evil plans. Previously, he caught hold of only Kaikeyi and Manthara, but now he is planning to catch hold of entire Ayodhya Vasis. So uchatu sabha ke sira mela. So he is weaving a net out of his evil plan and is putting that net on all Ayodhya Vasis. Sura maya sabha loga bimohe, Rama prema atisayana bichohe. When that net fell on everybody's mind, suddenly they were caught in that net. What is catching up in this net? What does it symbolize? Bhagwan doesn't remain a priority. That net keeps falling time and again. Here Goswamiji is poetically describing in the case of Ayodhya Vasis. But whenever a sadhaka starts feeling that my mind has gone away from Bhagwan, that is this net of Maya. And love for God is not fully lost, thankfully. Rama prema atisayana bichohe. Otherwise it would be very terrible. Totally forgetting Bhagwan, going in some another direction. That means all of the good work several lives of punya karma, all sadhanas, suddenly they were lost because of something. Fortunately, that didn't happen. Little bit was there inside. What was happening in their mind? Bhaya, there was fear. Uchata means restlessness. Basa mana thira nahi. Mind was restless and it was getting anxious. Why did it get anxious? What were the thoughts in the mind? Chana bana ruchi, chana sadhana sohahi. For a moment they would feel, oh, this forest is beautiful. We are so happy that we came. And suddenly they would remember the comforts of their home. Meaning Goswamiji is telling here, indecisive mind is sorrowful. If a person is clear, okay, forest is what I want, let me live here, he'll be happy. Another person says, forest is not my cup of tea, I'll stay at home. He'll be at least happy in his own way. But this in-between person who is indecisive, who is in the forest thinking of home, when he goes home, he thinks of forest. It is said, this happens even when people go for pilgrimage, Tirtha Yatra. Very enthusiastically, they will go. But suddenly when you go there, a lot of shivering, cold place, facilities are not as good as home. And this person had so much of difficulty reaching there, but suddenly his mind will start thinking about home. Maybe we should go back. Or when are we going back? Even if he is there, he is not able to enjoy the beauty of that place. In our camps also it happens, Whenever you have big camps, wherever they go, half part of the mind says, this is so nice. Another half part says, when are we going back? Whenever that thought comes, you should say, Indra Bhagwan, may your blessings be there upon me. May one decision be firm. Either here or there. In between person is very miserable. Duvidha manogati praja dukhari. This is whenever we are in this duvidha, indecisive state of mind, that gives sorrow. He gives an example. Sarita Sindhu Sangama Janu Bari. When the river water meets ocean, you see a distinct line. The ocean water might be deep and dark. The river water might be muddy. But depending upon the tide, sometimes this pushes ocean water inside. Sometimes the ocean water pushes the river water out. That is the mind of this indecisive sadhaka. Sometimes he feels forest is good. Sometimes he feels his house is good. Duchita kataha paritoshana lahi. Whenever we have this two-sided thoughts which are pulling us in two directions, that mind is not content at any point. Eka sana maramuna kahi. Strangely, everybody was feeling this dual pull inside, but they were not sharing with each other. Because once the restlessness is there, several other things follow along with it. So they were not even sharing. Otherwise, they could have gone and asked Bhagwan. He would have given a solution. They could have asked Vasishta Maharshi. But they were not sharing it with anybody. Laki hiya hasi kaha krupa nidhano. But Bhagwan knew. He understood what is happening. He also saw Indra Bhagwan, what all things he has done. Sarisa swana magavana jubano. He says all these three people are same. Who are they? Swana means a dog. Maghavana means Indra Bhagwan. And Jubana means a young person. All three are the same. Now there is a play of words here. In Panini Maharshi's Sutra, grammatical Sutra, he has said, Shva Yuva Magho Nama Tadhite. Shva Shabda, Yuva Shabda and Magha Shabda. All these three decline in the same way. That is on Paniniya Sutra. So Goswamiji has taken that and he has quoted it here. That's why he is putting all three together. When I was looking up the sutra, I came across a nice Subhashita. There is one lady who is making a garland. And her garland is made up of, she puts glass first, then she puts a gem, then she puts gold in that garland. That is how she is making. First a gem, first glass, then a gem, then gold. Somebody asks, what is this strange garland that you are making? In response to that, she says, somebody who is so learned like Panini Maharshi, he could put Shva, Yuva and Maga in the same sutra. Why can't I put these three together? Kacham manim kanchanam, kancham manim kanchanam, eka sutre grathasi. It's a different meter. Kancham manim kanchanam eka sutre granthasi bale kimidam vichitram. What is this vichitra garland that you are making? Vicharavan panini eka sutre shwanam yuvanam magavan aha. Somebody who is so learned like Panini Maharshi, he has put Shwanam, Yuvanam, Magavanam in the same sutra. Why can't I put glass, gem and gold in the same mala? See, they would make the Subhashitas so that those sutras become easy to remember. So Bhagwan Rama, in his mind, he remembers that. Now, in this Maya Jala of Indra, who were not affected? Bharatu Janaku. Bharatji was not affected. Janak Maharaj was not affected. Muni Jana Sachiva. All the Rishi Munis who were there, they were spared. Devoted ministers, Sumantraji, they were not affected. Sadhu Sacheta Bihai. And all other sadhus who were there, they were spared from this disturbance. I mean, they did not start feeling we have to go to the city. Everybody else started feeling it. Lagi Deva Maya Sabahi Jatha Jogu Jana Pai. According to their inner immunity, they were affected by this Maya. Those who had the power of devotion, those who held on to Bhagwan's feet, Maya could not touch them. Bhagwan saw all this. Krupa Sindhu Laki Loga Dukhare. He saw that everybody is sad. Why were they sad? On one hand, they had their own love. Nija Saneha. Surapati Chala Bhare. And on the other hand, they were affected by Indra Bhagwan's Maya. Sabha Rahu Gura Mahisura Mantri. Janak Maharaj and all Brahmanas, Vasishta Maharshi, their mind was anchored with the love of Bharatji's heart. That is why they were spared. Bharata Bhagati Saba Kaimati Jantri. Kaimati Jantri means Bharatji's love for Bhagwan was like the nail in which all their minds were held together. You know, when we chant Ramaraksha Stotram or any other Kavacha Stotra, even in Sankalpa they chant it. Kilakam comes. Ramaraksha Stotra, it is said, Kilaka is Hanumanji. Shrimat Hanuman Kilakam. Kilaka means one who holds that entire mantra together, one who is the central point of that particular stotram. So here it was Bharatji. Their minds were tuned to Bharatji. That is why they were not affected by Indra. Now the description is very poetic. How are these people looking at Bhagwan Rama? Rama hi chitavata chitra likhe se. They were still like paintings. They were staring at Bhagwan Rama. Sakuchata bolata bachana sikhe se. As though their minds were controlled by Indra Bhagwan. And they were speaking whatever was taught to them. They are repeating something which was taught to them. Bharata preeti nati binaya badai sunata sukhada baranata katinai. Goswamiji says, Bharatji's love for Bhagwan is very nice to hear, but very difficult to describe. His love is such, hearing a little bit of his love, seeing a little bit of his love, great people like Janak Maharaj, great people like Vasishtha Maharshi, all of them, they became still. Prema Magna they became. How can my little intellect describe how much love Bharatji had? Mahima tasu kahe kimi tulasi, bhagati subhaya sumati hiya hulasi. He says, how can I describe Bharatji's love for Bhagwan? But just remembering Bharatji, remembering his love, he says, my heart is filled with joy. Not necessary that I should describe it. Just remembering it gives me joy. Apu chotu, I think I am very small, and his mahima is so great. Bharatji's glory is so great. Kabikula kani mani sakuchani. Keeping the tradition alive of great poets. He says, I feel very hesitant to say anything. Kahina sakati guna ruchi adhikai. There is lot of taste, interest in describing, but there is no capacity to describe. Mati gati bala bachana kinai. Whenever I start describing, it feels as though it is an infant's speech. And he gives a metaphor. Bharata bimala jasu bimala bidhu sumati chakora kumari. Bharatji's glory is like the full moon. And he says, my mind is like the chakora bird. Just like the chakora bird gets nourishment looking at the moon, he says, my mind gets nourishment thinking about Bharatji's glory. Next chaupai, he just elaborates, next set of chaupais, that Bharatji's charitra is very sweet to hear, but really speaking very deep and impossible to describe. He says, why should we listen to this? Why should we share his glory? Kahata sunata sati bhayu bharatako siya ramapada hoina ratako. Whoever talks about Bharatji, whoever listens about Bharatji's charitra, naturally, effortlessly, they will get love for Bhagwan Rama and Sita ji. Now he is describing the Phalashruti of chanting Bharata Charitra, listening to that and reflecting upon each prasanga. And it is so great, even if we don't listen to the whole Charitra, even if we remember Bharatji, he says that remembrance also will bring love for God, love for Rama in our heart. Now, Bhagwan is going to give his verdict. Final speech of Bhagwan. He says, Bhagwan, who was the Dharma Dhurina. Dharma Dhurina means one who takes entire dharma forward. Just like in a chariot, you have a horse which is taking the entire chariot forward. The one who is holding dharma and taking that dharma forward, that person is called as Dharma Dhurina. One who is good in strategy, one who is truthful, one who is an abode of all compassion, virtues, good qualities, and joy, such Bhagwan, one who understands Niti and Preeti. Niti means do's and don'ts. Preeti means love. Generally, we find it's very difficult to strike a balance between these two. If somebody gets too stuck up with do's and don'ts, his life can become very dry, without any love. And if somebody tips too much into love, then he might forget do's and don'ts. But Bhagwan Rama is somebody who understands the boundary between both. Such Bhagwan is now going to say something. How is Bhagwan's speech? Bole bachana bani Surabasuse, one whose speech is so pure that it will make everybody under his control. And at the end, it will give joy to the one who is listening. Means while he is speaking, you get joy. And after he has spoken, there is something good for that person in his words. That is Bhagwan's speech. Tata Bharata Tumad Dharma Dhurina Loka Beda Vida Prema Prabhina. Bhagwan says, O Bharatji, you are Dharma Dhurina. Bhagwan is praising Bharatji now. This is one Chaupai about 304. About 304 Doha. That is Bhagwan's speech. He is starting now. Tata Bharata Tuma Dharma Dhurina Loka Beda Vida Prema Prabhina. He says, you know what is worldly way of life. Transactional life also you know very well. Loka. And you also know what is the Vedic vision. This is also another sweet balance. To know what scriptures are saying is one thing. And how to live our day-to-day life, that is another thing. Pujya Gurudev has given an introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, Guruji's Bhagavad Katha. It's there in that book also. The green color book, Guruji's commentary. Gurudev says one of the beauty of Hinduism is just like the bark of a tree grows as the tree expands. He says our Sanatana Dharma practices, they will adapt to the times in which people are living. So how to understand spiritual concepts, at the same time how to apply it in our day-to-day life. Both are great balance, and also how to live day-to-day life. That is another part. Not always you are applying scriptural perspectives, but transactional life, what are the things to be done? Bharatji, you know all of it. Karma bachana manasa bimala. You are pure by your actions, by your speech, by your mind. Bharatji is getting this compliment from Bhagwan Rama. Tuma samana, tuma tata. There is nobody like you. Your example is you only. Guru Samaja Lagu Bandhugana. In the midst of all Guru and all these people, our own people are there. Kusamaya Kimi Kahi Jata. At this time, how can I praise you more? In front of them, it is not good to praise too much also. You know, Bhagwan is saying here, if I praise you too much, people might perceive it, I am praising myself. If you praise somebody who is related to you, it is also perceived as your own praise. In one commentary it is said, one sadhu, he came along with his disciple. And to another sadhu, he started praising his disciple. He is so good, very good in Sanskritam. Learnt all Prasthanatrayi. Has done lot of japa, lot of sadhana. Had darshan of Bhagwan. He says, in all this, what are you pointing out? He is my disciple. So in front of revered people, if you praise somebody who is related to you, that could be perceived as your own praise. So Bhagwan says, I should not praise you too much. Next, let us see however far we get. Janahu tata tarani kulariti. He says, O Bharatji, please remember the ways of Raghukula. Now Bhagwan will give his answer. He will give direct command to Bharatji without actually telling him to go back. This is Bhagwan's speech. You see the beauty in which he is speaking. He says, please remember what is the Raghukula Riti. And also remember what our father liked. He was Satyasandha, man of truth. and he had love for Kirati and Preeti. Satya Sandapitu Kirati Preeti means he had love for Kirati, good name. And you should not do something by which your name is tarnished. So keep that in mind. Bhagwan Rama is telling Bharatji. Samo Samaja Laja Guru Janaki. Keep in mind the time that we are in. Keep in mind all these people of Ayodhya who are there, Samaja. Laja Guru Janaki. What your teachers want from you, that also you keep in mind. Udasena hita anahita manaki. And keep in mind what all things different people are having as expectations. Udasena means one who is not taking sides. Udasena. All these people's wish also you keep in mind. Tumahi bidita sabahi kara karamo. You are somebody who knows precisely what are the duties of everybody. Bhagwan tells Bharatji, you know the duties of all of us. You know your own duty. You know what is my duty also. Apana mora paramahita dharamo. And you also know what is good for me. Look at Bhagwan's trust in Bharatji. He says, Bharatji, you know what is the right thing for me. Mohi sab bhanti bharosa tumhara. I have 100% trust in your judgment. I have 100% trust in you. But still, because this situation has arisen, I am going to say a few words. Tadapi kahau avasara anusara. Tat binu bata hamari, kevala gurukula krupa samhari. He says, oh brother, listen. Without the presence of Dashrath Maharaj, Tata binu bata hamari. Our situation was handled only by the grace of Vasishtha Maharshi's blessings. So next few chaupai is Bharatji is praising Vasishtha Maharshi. In a way he is hinting him, look within and ask yourself, what does Vasishtha Maharshi really want? And he says, just look at what all things he has done for us. See, when Dashrath Maharaj passed away, Bhagwan Rama had already left. And Bharatji was not there. If a kingdom becomes without a king, any enemy can come and attack that whole kingdom. Vasishtha Maharshi very quickly ensured Dashrath Maharaj is passing away, this news doesn't cross the boundaries of Ayodhya. He said, right from that day, he has been taking care of us. First thing that he did is this. Another thing, just think about it. What would have happened if the messenger who went to call Bharatji, instead of going to Bharatji, Vasishtha Maharshi could have sent him to Bhagwan Rama also. What would the messenger have said? Dashrath Maharaj has passed away. Now you have to decide what to do. What would Bhagwan Rama do? He would leave everything and come back. But Vasishtha Maharshi knew that is not the right thing. If he has gone to protect his words, that is our responsibility. So by praising Vasishtha Maharshi, Bhagwan Rama is reminding Bharatji, you look at all the things that he has done for us and see, judge for yourself what he really wants from us. If he would have wanted me back in Ayodhya, he would have called me long back. But he is also in a doubtful situation. He cannot say it openly, neither can he ask me to come back. So when you decide, this is what I would encourage you to think about. Nataru praja parijana parivaru hamai sahita sabah hota khuaru. If Vasishtha Maharshi was not there, the calamity which came on us, the difficulties which came on us, that would have come on entire Ayodhya. He protected us from all this. Job avasara athava dinesu. Jaga kehi kahau na hoi kalesu. If sunset happens before the right time, it will affect everybody. That is what happened to us. Dashrath Maharaj passing away suddenly. That calamity could have affected all of us. Tasa utapata tata bidikinha muni mithilesa rakhi sabulinha. These two people, Vasishtha Maharshi and Janak Maharaj, they protected us in the times of difficulty. Even Janak Maharaj, if you see, he was the father-in-law. And Bhagwan Rama considered him as Guru Tulya only. If he wanted Bhagwan to come back to Ayodhya, he could have sent a messenger and said, come back. Bhagwan Rama is telling Bharatji, if Maharaj has come himself from Mithila to here, he says, think about what does he really want. If they wanted me to come back, they would have done it long ago. Raj Kaja Sabalajapati Dharma Dharani Dhanadhama. Rajakaja means administrative matters. Laja means honor. Dharma means virtue. Dharani is land. Dhama means home. Dhana means wealth. All of this is protected in our life because of Vasishtha Maharshi's grace and blessings. Guru Prabhava Palahi Sabahi Bhale Hohi Parinama. Now in the next Doha, Bhagwan is going to conclude his message and he tells it in a way Bharatji understands it clearly. He doesn't ask again, okay Bhagwan, now you tell me what I should do. He happily accepts Bhagwan's verdict, but the way in which he is presenting, that is something we have to note. Aganita Gunagana Bhushana Rama Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama Ayodhya Vasi Sita Rama Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama Kamita Phaladar Jaya Jaya Rama Papa Vimochana Shri Rama Pattabhirama Jaya Jaya Rama Janaki Vallabha Sita Rama Jaya Raghu Rama Jaya Sita Rama Vanara Sevita Shri Rama Varidhi Bandhana Jaya Jaya Rama Hanumat Pujita Sita Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Raghupati Raghava Raja Rama Patita Pavana Sita Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Syavara Ramachandra Ki Jai Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai Hari Om.